fun day, everybody. Welcome back to the Couchside Judges. I'm Scott Fontana. Follow me on Twitter at Scott_Fontana.
And I'm Dan Urban. Follow me at the Dan Urban. Follow the podcast at Couchside Judges. Subscribe to us on YouTube and wherever else you listen.
That's right. Focus on the YouTube there. We want to get more people on this platform. We're gonna be beefing it up over time.
And as always, we talk judging in MMA. So make sure you read that criteria. Talking to you, Alan Joban.
Yes.
Read that criteria.
Yes, indeed. Him and you know, honestly, just everyone who is a UFC commentator, just brush up on it.
You know, MMA commentator.
True. MMA by and large. Now, some are much more familiar with it already than others, but like ourselves, it doesn't hurt to brush up on it.
Real quick while we're on this.
Yeah.
Because I was just watching the fights after the DQ in that one fight on Bellator on Friday night.
Which we're going to be talking about. Are you getting ahead of the game? What are you
doing?
Well,
I know, but just because while we're on that topic of fighters knowing what they're talking about,
yeah. Josh
Thompson made a comment asking Big John. He's like, I've been a fighter for 20 years. You know, I don't know all the rules. And I'm thinking, why not? This is your sport.
Honestly, the best thing to do for a fighter to learn the rules is to just take the judging and reffing courses. You'll learn almost everything.
It's basically 1 or 2 afternoons. It's
kind of ridiculous that we have this, and yet it's so commonplace that we just kind of have to just shake our heads and say, oh, there's another one. But no, and we do have to, you know, we've got a lot of rounds to get to. We had 3 events over the weekend, sir.
Busy week.
Yeah, but it did follow up a very nice baseball game you and I attended.
That was fun.
That was good. Dan brought me to the Yankee game the other day.
And they won?
Mm-hmm. We got our 99 burger. That was more important.
I was very, that was the goal of the game.
What would you rate it, like on like a 5-star scale?
5-star scale?
Yeah.
It was like 3.5.
3.5 is fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
3.5.
Yeah. I think it was solid. Definitely not a $20 burger.
Yeah, I had it. I don't need to stand in line again. Mm-hmm. Unless someone who hasn't had it really wants it, then I'll stand in line with them. But
for those who don't know, and we'll get to actual fighting in a second, but the 99 burger is available at Yankee games, but only 99 of them. So they sell out early. You have to get there super early. They're $20 each, and essentially it's a double pattied In-N-Out burger, or at least it's trying to mimic that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had In-N-Out in a while, so I don't know if the animal sauce or if there's animal style or what.
It has been a while since I've had In-N-Out as well. I have not been to the West Coast in a long time. Although my family and I are talking about maybe going out to Seattle, maybe Denver. I don't know what is in Denver, but I'm sure in Seattle they have In-N-Out. Because
Denver's cool.
I don't know. Maybe they don't either. Who knows?
Seattle's got good coffee, I hear.
Well, you know, my wife works at Starbucks, so she would be interested in going to Seattle and going to something there.
If you go to Seattle, go to the Funko headquarters and get me a pop.
I will not do that.
No, that's mean.
It's not. No. It's not malicious. It's that I have no reason to drag my kids there.
They probably love it.
No, they won't.
There's toys there.
Yeah, but it's not Legos.
I think they have Lego Pops.
It better be Legos, because if it's not Legos, they don't care.
All right.
We got to get to the fights, though. We have a lot, like I said. There's 3 events to cover. Fortunately, the judging was super sharp, which we'll kind of detail just a little bit later. But real quick, let's go over a couple of the major things happened over the weekend, starting with the end to the Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix Tournament, which is the official name. The final it finally took place, and we got a monster knockout by Apache Mix, winning the million, winning the interim title belt, which is still funny that it's not the actual title belt that they worked so hard for, and that there's also a championship fight with the regular belt going on in just 2 months. But that's what we are. So we kind of have like a new tournament. Just kind of went through the first leg.
Yeah, now
this is like a 4-man tournament.
This is the Champions tournament.
Mm-hmm. This is the Tournament of Champions, exactly. Yep. This was to get a berth in the final of that. And Patchy Mix, yeah, man, he got the job done. I mean, everyone kind of thinks of him as a submission guy, and it's been a while since he had finished anybody with strikes. When I was talking to him, I think it'd been like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 2019 he got a TKO.
Oh, maybe it was less than that. Okay. But anyway, it'd been a while. No, you know what? I was mixing him up with Brandon Royval. That's why. Brandon Royval had his Dan coughs over there. He's the one who had been that much longer. But nonetheless, very surprising result. Great win. And he sets up a really interesting fight with either Patricio Pitbull, who would win the belt, or against Sergio Pettis if he does defeat Sergio Pettis. Although Patricio Pitbull, if he wins, when are they gonna have that fight? Because he's got another belt to defend.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's gonna be weird. It's almost it's you don't root against Patricio Pitbull on itself, but
So wait,
just to keep things going, it might be better if Pettis won.
Here's what we're doing.
Yeah, what?
Pitbull's all about setting records in history.
Yeah.
He's defending both belts on one night.
Well,
that's what he's doing.
Well, he answered. It was Aaron Pico who had a call out for him on one of the fights over the weekend, and Pico said, like, it's time. I want a championship fight. I want a shot at the belt. And Pitbull said, I could fight you in May and then still fight in June.
Excellent.
So he's your guy.
He is my guy.
He should be your guy.
That is my guy.
Yeah. So right now your guys are him,
Brandon
Royval, Jim
Royval.
Miller, obviously the Diaz brothers. I don't think you can. I mean, you can still have him, but like he doesn't fight anymore. BJ Penn.
If he fought again, I would.
We're talking about active guys. Let's leave it to active guys.
Okay, active guys.
And there's one more who you said was going to be your guy.
Bo Nickel.
Bo Nickel, that's right. Okay, I thought you had someone else.
Bo Nickel's my guy. Hinato Moicano's a guy.
Moicano, that was who I was thinking of.
Okay.
What about Joe Pfeiffer? You a Joe Pfeiffer
Joe
guy?
Pfeiffer? I like Joe Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
But he hasn't gotten to become my guy's level yet.
Gotcha. But,
he's working his way there.
And then also anyone who fought for CFFC.
Mostly. Yeah.
But basically.
Kinda.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with Patchy Mix's performance. That's kind of what I want to get across here. And then I am excited for what's going to come. Although, yes, it could get complicated if Patricio Pitbull does win. So we'll see how that goes. But that would be amazing if he does win. So, nonetheless, Patchy Mix, I spoke to him and before the fight, and the fact that he was able to get the win here, it's good to see. He wanted to buy his family his house, his mama house. He said he was adopted. They did all that video package during the lead up to the fight. I thought they did a really good job, kind of promoting the fight within the event. Both events really over the weekend. So they did a good job with that. And so now he can go get a realtor and get that house. Good for the Mix family. On the UFC side, because it's the same night as the UFC later on, because this was in Hawaii, UFC was in Vegas. Sergey Pavlovich doing Sergey Pavlovich things, taking care of business, making everybody happy by not having a heavyweight fight extend past the first 5 minutes like it's supposed to.
His jab basically rattled Curtis Blades.
Wow.
It was impressive because
he just packs so much power.
Blades ate a bunch of shots early. He's like, and it didn't seem to faze him much. And then he ate like 2-3 jabs. And he's like, oh boy, and things went very south.
There's just not so many punches you can take from Sergey Pavlovich, I think, is what we're learning here. Is this man knows how to generate power, concisely and quickly, and in every shot, in jabs, in whatever. So you've got to be mindful of it. Don't let anything touch you is really what it is. So he probably should have gone to the wrestling sooner. I think he, felt confident enough to test the waters, and it wasn't going horribly for him, but it also wasn't going right, and then it went very wrong. So, but this certainly sets up Sergey Pavlovich as a very interesting heavyweight in that picture. It sounds like they're still targeting to have John Jones fight Stipe Miocic. It looks like they're looking at New York, actually. So it'll be here.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to afford that one.
What a stupid idea.
But listen, dude, if that fight comes here and somehow they also put Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler on there, does that make it more or less appealing for you to try and spend that money? Like, just take my money and go.
To spend $1,000 to sit in the rafters? No, thank you. I'll be sitting with Patrick Ewing's jersey.
You could take it home with you.
Maybe
you sell it and defray the cost.
Yikes.
At least partially, because even that jersey hanging from the rafters that you stole probably would not pay for the ticket.
How do you even sell one of those? Like, you just get arrested.
Dark web.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get on the dark web.
Yeah, I don't know. I just the dark web is just like the go-to thing that everybody says. It's like basically the new black market.
What was that road? That the Bitcoin road? What was that called? I forget.
Bitcoin road? I don't know.
Yeah, it was something road. I think was the name of
Rainbow Road?
No, it was.
Never mind. That's Mario Kart.
Oh.
Anyway,
whatever.
I know. But yeah, with that fight there, and John Jones is talking like that might be his last fight. He seems to be implying that this could be like the end for him.
I think he's just a troll.
Well, he is.
So
but, I mean, also, what if it was? What if he just doesn't fight anymore after that? He fights Stipe and he's like, nah, that's it. I'm done.
I'm not getting
And
hit
then
by Pavlovich.
what if Miocic decides he's also done? And that leaves us in this whole new world of heavyweight where somehow Sergey Pavlovich becomes like the #1 contender to a vacant belt or something.
Well, I think I'd rather see Pavlovich and John Jones anyway.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, who knows? These negotiation things can change, right? But it doesn't look like that's what they want.
All right, whatever.
So we'll see. Sergey Pavlovich would be interesting against John Jones. Obviously, John would look to take it down a lot quicker.
Curtis Blades got shrugged off on his takedown attempt like nothing. He was also rattled a little bit, but
yeah,
that's a fight I'm interested in.
It would be interesting.
So
maybe it will happen. Maybe it won't. We'll see. We're on the Bellator side back again. The day before, Friday, Bellator 294 was headlined by Liz Carmouche, who was defending the right to keep her belt or vacate it because Dana Bennett missed weight, which Liz Carmouche apparently was kind of not surprised by in any single way. I mean, she's missed weight before, so it's not that surprising to anybody else either. But yeah, she missed weight for a title fight, Dana Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes out there and just wins all 3 rounds with her wrestling before losing in the 4th round.
I'm trying.
Really impressive performance by Liz Carmouche to avoid a terrible situation where Bellator just doesn't have a flyweight champion anymore after a title fight.
They might have just put it on McFarlane. Like, you're our champion. Here.
I don't know if they would have quite gone that far. But I personally was just glad because I hate when we have these stupid vacant belts and things like that. Credit to Liz Carmouche, though, because she was willing to risk something that she didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give her that.
All right.
And nonetheless, she got it done. And yeah, it does look like maybe they're setting up the potential for her against Alima Lay McFarlane, like you mentioned. But she's saying she only wants to fight in Hawaii. And if they don't come back to Hawaii this year, that would mean they're going to hold the belt up. So I don't think that's what they're going to do. I don't know.
She said something about December.
Yeah, well, that's what she wants to do. She's just talking about like, well, this is what I would do. But she's not Scott Coker.
Yeah.
She's Alima Lay McFarlane. They're 2 different people.
Yeah.
I don't know if
they
you
are.
knew that. I wasn't sure. I should clarify that. But anyway, that was kind of the big stuff from the weekend. We do have a lot of officiating topics that we want to get to. Of course, we'll do contested rounds. But before that, a couple refereeing related topics that we thought were relevant to highlight here. And that was, well, let's start with the Bellator. We'll go chronologically here.
Yeah.
A Bellator 294 on the prelims. We had a disqualification in the fight with Terrell Fortune and goodness, I didn't write down his last name, so I'm really terrible here. Belostany, right? What is his last name? Or what's his first name here?
Belostany?
I'm pulling that up right as we speak, and it is Sergey, of course. You know what? I wanted to say Sergey, but I also didn't want to be, like generalizing and like, no, it's not Sergey, you anti-Russian person or other. But
it sounds like no, never mind. It's too far down a rabbit hole for me to go down about Matt Brown wanting to make basically prison rule FC. He would probably have to go to Russia to get what he wants sanctioned.
What?
Yeah. Because I went down that road, because we're going to talk about the headbutt eventually. And
yeah.
He's like, yeah, headbutt should be legal. You should be able to knee people in the face, stomp them, do everything. He's like, yeah, Mortal FC. It sounds like he'd have to go to Russia to get that sanctioned.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
let's focus on this one, though.
Yeah.
Of course, like I said, this was a disqualification. There were punches to the back of the head from Belostany, who had Fortune in real trouble.
He did.
I mean, he really did. Like, he theoretically could have absolutely finished him legally. And yet, he continued to punch the back of the head, even after repeated warnings from the referee, who noted afterward when he was explaining, I warned him, hitting between the ears.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that. So blatant, so obvious. So he had to stop the fight, and he called it a disqualification. Good call,
Fair.
bad call?
DQ's fine. I tend to defer to Big John on refereeing topics because I feel that's his true level, his area of expertise.
Sure, absolutely.
He said, he agrees that he should have stopped it sooner, and perhaps Fortune wouldn't have been so hurt. Maybe they just take a point, and then it can continue. But
which is always how I felt about the John Jones disqualification against Matt Hamill. I always thought that fight should have probably just been stopped anyway. Although it's been a long time since I watched that. I should watch it again.
He's saying then, otherwise we're going to end up with a DQ or no contest. If he deems that the strikes were just accidental due to moving his head or whatever.
Yeah, that wasn't the case here. That certainly didn't manifest because his head was pretty much in one place the whole time, Fortune's head. So, yeah I think the DQ is fine. Yeah, I mean, maybe they stopped the fight earlier, but I didn't think it was egregious to not
I think
stop
it's
it.
fine. No,
I think it's perfectly fine to have both let that fight go and to call it a disqualification. I'm very good with this. I think they handled it very well.
DQ's fine.
I missed the referee's name in that fight, actually. I can pull that up. But yeah, I want to say that he did just a really good job there. That referee, we're spending a whole lot of just this time where we could be, talking about things, and I'm just like puttering around, wasting time while I try to pull up information. What does that say about me? Is that a good thing? It's probably not a good thing.
Unprepared.
That's me. Referee Chris West. Good job, Chris West. Deserves to be shouted out. So I think it's worth puttering around to get there.
All right.
But then the other big refereeing move, this was probably more high profile because it was on the UFC card, on the main card, and a fight people were kind of at least aware of going in. And it was the Bobby Green against Jared Gordon fight in which, an accidental clash of heads between Green and Gordon ended up putting the worst of it on Jared Gordon, rocked him, and put him in a point where he was prone and able to be finished by Bobby Green.
Mm-hmm.
And they had got so far as to having Joe Martinez start to announce what sounded like Bobby Green as the winner before they said, no, they will reconvene.
Yeah, they're like, we'll take a break while the commission converses.
And you know what? Hey, fine, whatever. It's okay. I'm just glad that they got to the right result here.
I like that he was going to announce it with the ref completely not present.
Yeah, it was a little strange, right? It was like he just jumped. I don't know. There was a little bit of chaos here, right? It's, I think it's forgivable because the main thing about this scenario is that they got it right. They didn't declare a winner. They declared it a no contest. And I think that's really the only thing you can do here. So Keith Peterson conferred with officials. He conferred with everybody that he could, got all the information he could, and then decided, yes, we're going to call this a no contest. So I think Keith Peterson handled this as well as he could. Again, it was a little chaotic, but the ends kind of justify the means in a situation like this. You really just want to get it done.
Very clear what happened. So.
It's so clear. I mean, and Bobby Green was super mad that he didn't get his win because he said at the post press conference, he's like, I want my money. And then he just stormed out. Now I get it. He wants money. Like, he feels like he performed well, and I think he probably performed well enough, but also he didn't win the fight in a
He's the one leading with his head.
legal way. I mean, it's, you know what? No, I'm not gonna.
Crazy.
I don't want to put anything on Bobby Green. It's just an accidental thing that happened in a fight. I feel for him because if someone deserves to just get a flat fee to fight, it's probably someone like Bobby Green, who we don't really care if he wins or loses. We as the viewing public, we just want to be entertained, and that's what he brings. So it shouldn't matter if he wins or loses. He's doing his job just by showing up and fighting hard, which he always will. So I think that's disappointing that he has to come away like that. But at the end of the day, it's still the right thing. Absolutely the right thing.
No, they did a great job.
Yep. Good job by Keith Peterson. Good job by the Nevada Commission and all involved. Really well done. Very happy to see it. It's like textbook. This is like something I feel like they should add to like refereeing courses to like show, hey, what do you do in these scenarios? Like, what are your progressions? How do you go through and talk to different people? Dan,
had to cough.
Got to get a lozenge.
Lozenger.
Yeah. But that sign, I guess, is a good segue, right, to move
Yeah.
into we'll go over the numbers real quick of the rounds before we get to contested rounds. And there were so many rounds. At Vegas, the Nevada judges only had 17 rounds, to be fair. 13 of 17 were unanimous for a 76.5% rate. That's solid. It's very good. It's above average. It's one of those three. And then one of those was an 8-9 split. Over Bellator, because there were two events, like I said, 294 on Friday night was 12 of 18 unanimous, so only 2 out of 3, just a little below par. But 2 8-9 splits in there, meaning there was only 4 times where they couldn't find the winner the same way, so not so bad. Especially when you're working with local officials, I think you're more likely to get these 8-9 splits because there will be experienced officials who really know their way around the intricacies of the 8-9, and local officials I just don't think are as experienced with it. They don't have it enough. They don't talk about it as much as the traveling officials do. By and large, right? Not every official is the same. But nonetheless, yeah, I think they did a solid job there. And then, oh my goodness, Bellator 295, Saturday night, 25 rounds, 23 unanimous, 92% rate. None of these were 8-9 splits. That is fantastic.
Good work.
On the whole for the weekend over these 3 events, 60 rounds scored over 3 events, 48 unanimous, 80% rate. 3 of these were 8-9 splits. And I think this was just a terrific job on the whole by the officiating community for the weekend. Great job. Not just the judging, but the refereeing. I think everything was done really, really well.
Great weekend.
I think so. This is a really sterling weekend for the officials. Give yourselves a round of applause if you did it. If you didn't, well, just sit there and clap for somebody else. I don't know. Or send them a text, whatever. Contested rounds time, sir.
Let's do it.
We only have 12 rounds. For the fact that we had 3 events, if you told me, hey, we're going to be able to get to all the rounds from all 3 events this weekend, I'd be like, no effing way. We're going to do we're going to do UFC, and we're going to cherry pick Bellator, because that's what we do. We didn't have to do it this time. We got all these rounds coming your way, starting with Bellator 295, where there were only 2. But I think this is the one that probably had the most chatter about which way the round went, which way the fight went, and that was Ms. McFarlane, who we mentioned earlier, got the win over Kana Watanabe. Split decision, 29-28's all around. Round 3 is our decider.
Yep.
Let's talk about round 3, sir. What's happening?
Kind of a boring round. Kind of a low output round.
Are you saying Kana a boring round?
Kind
of.
Oh,
okay. I thought you were doing a little pun there on Kana Watanabe.
No. I mean, Watanabe is basically hanging on McFarlane, looking for a takedown, eating tiny little punches. She does get it down to side control, where Watanabe, she does absolutely nothing there. She just kind of holds on. But the throw was pretty solid. Good impact, kind of. I felt while not much by McFarlane did land with more impact, it's close, because I think those punches are a little bit more effective compared to Watanabe at the end of the round when she started throwing a little bit. Very close round. I favor McFarlane 10-9. Very similar round to Patty Pimblett, Jared Gordon round 3.
That didn't occur to me. I hadn't thought about it like that. I guess I could see similarities. I'd have to think deeper on it. But yeah, I ended up going the same way as you. But there's just not a whole lot really happening here. In that sense, yes, it is absolutely like that round. There's just not a lot of really scoreable material here. But I did favor the strikes landing from McFarlane a little better. I thought her strike. If you just said, okay, we're only going to pay attention to strikes, which is not what you would do. But let's just say, for argument's sake, devil's advocate style, if you were to only look at the strikes landed in this round and the effect thereof, I think you kind of, I feel a lot better going for McFarlane. But again, there's just not a whole lot happening. But I think Watanabe really doesn't have much at all over the course of the 5 minutes.
No, she gets some punches in towards the end against the cage.
Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah.
There's almost nothing here. I mean, the grappling is present, sure, but I don't know how truly effective it was in this round. So while I do not begrudge in any way Derek Cleary going for Watanabe here, or even the people at home who thought Watanabe got the win. I mean, I can understand it if their logic was sound, which, I mean, Derek Cleary's logic, I'm sure, was sound. I don't know about the people who had bets on Watanabe.
I never care if someone disagrees with me. Just disagree for the right reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
for sure. Get it. Just have like a good reason for it. If you're just like, no, you're wrong because you're a loser. Well, it's not nice. Do better.
Yeah, please.
but no, I did sign with McFarlane. I feel good about my score, but I also don't feel like this is a round anyone should get worked up about. So all you crazies that were mad about McFarlane and the home cooking because it's Hawaii and put the judges in a bunker and all that stuff. Our guy Marcel Dorf was not a fan of the results of that fight.
Well, Marcel doesn't know how to score a fight. That's why.
No, he kind of doesn't.
That's why I rescinded the judging from him.
I forgot you did that. Yeah, I mean, you see, he posted like all of what he wants to do. He's like, want to put them all in a bunker, and they all have 20 screens on at one time. They all get access to everything. And I just said to him, I said, devil's advocate here, what if the power goes out and they can't watch those screens? And he said, good question. And then he made a joke and whatever. I'm like, sorry, that's not really how it works. Marcel does a great job aggregating all the news of what's going on with fights and everything like that. But, just take a judging course. You'll learn a lot, I promise.
I want to point out, if I had to fight Ilima-Lei Macfarlane in Hawaii, I would ask to come out second. Because I don't want to stand in the ring that long for the entrance to end. Like, you gotta warm up, keep warming up the whole time. You might gas yourself out just trying to stay warm.
Well, what if you just kind of chilled there for a while? Just like
then you get cold.
You could whip out your phone and like play a game, and then you're not even thinking about it. At least,
maybe, yeah.
Or like maybe there's like maybe you can bring your Switch and play like a motion game or something. They ring fit Is it
Okay.
Ring Fit Adventures like a workout game? So you can
just
play
get
that in the ring.
tired, though.
No. It'd be a lot of fun. You wouldn't even think about it.
Okay.
It'd be a lot of fun. Also, you're a man. You're not gonna fight a woman. That's crazy. So
If I was, jeez.
look, I accept you whoever you are.
Okay, thank you.
The judges that we agreed with in this fight, though, we did not agree with Derek Cleary, but I'm sure his logic was sound. It makes sense to me. It was a crappy round that no one should care about.
Yeah,
when it really comes down to it, no one should care about this round other than Kana Watanabe and Alima McFarlane. But we agreed with Sal D'Amato and Brian Miner, who were in Hawaii to enjoy the festivities and also judge in Hawaiian shirts.
Yep.
All the officials, if you weren't watching, had Hawaiian shirts on, or at least Hawaiian style. I don't know. I don't think any cameramen got in the way this time.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't see any cameramen beat up at the end from Judge D'Amato. So that was good. At least we had that. The other fight from this card, this was on the prelims here. We're just going to clear it out and move on to UFC after this one. Elon Cruz got the win over Bobby King. Unanimous decision, 29-28 twice and a 30-27. So it was round 1 that the judges were split on deep in the prelims. What's happened in this round?
Kevin Yoshida with the Guy Fieri hair. Absolutely love it. Hey, real quick. How great would it be to have Guy Fieri on our show to introduce the 10-7 watch rounds? You know, he can be like, time for Triple D, damage, dominance, and duration. Like, did you ever watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
No, I've not watched it, but I've been to one of the places. There's a pancake place in Jersey City that I used to go to with my wife when we lived there, and I know that had been Brownstone had been on the show.
So
terrific. I took Drake Riggs there one time. Our guy Drake.
There you go.
And it's a great place. Shout out to Drake.
So Triple D, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know anything else about Guy Fieri though.
You'd be awesome. Go straight to Flavortown. Anyways, I don't want to say it's awful to score this round for Cruz, but it's also a round we really ought to not be talking about. Cruz, he's trying to bully King early against the fence, and it's kind of working. He's landing a couple strikes in the clinch, couple knees. But at distance, King is landing strong, solid punches. He wobbles Cruz. Cruz is really just throwing out this front kick to keep King at bay, and it's not really working all that well. I think we got to add this one to the list.
You want to add this one to the list?
I think we have
really?
to, yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I maybe I don't feel as strongly about this round as I did some of the rounds we've been talking about in recent weeks. But yeah, I think we can add it to the list. Sure. It's worth revisiting.
All right.
If I put it this way, if one of us nominates it, it's got to go on the list. Then we figure it out
Fair.
later. I think that's fair.
Sounds good.
And then, maybe with fresh eyes and, a little bit of time between, we can kind of evaluate these things again. But yeah, so I'm with you. I definitely had this as a King round. I didn't think it was a crazy dominant round or anything like that. But I think the round, we have enough damage coming from King in this round that I feel very good about my score. So I'm going to say I'll just go with a clear round. Yeah, I think clear is fine. So I agreed with you. I agreed with Sal D'Amato. I agreed with Brian Miner. We disagreed with Dane Ferruta, a local judge, who scored this one for Cruz. Again, I don't know how many reps the local judges in Hawaii are really getting. So, I don't want to go too deep on that. And this was on the prelims. It's okay to use the local officials. That's how they get experience. I think this was a good spot. I like the way that the officials were assigned in this one. I don't know how much of a hand, somebody like Mike Mazzulli had in working with the Hawaii Commission, or if they did it themselves. I'm not sure. But for whatever reason, they ended up doing the structure of their assignments in a way that I thought was a good way to do it. So, but unfortunately, yeah, it just didn't go that way. It also didn't affect the results. So there's that.
Yep. Very
good on the whole, like we said. But yeah, maybe not the strongest round here. Let's move over to Vegas again. We're gonna bounce between Bellator and UFC here, and then we'll go back to Bellator at the end, because I wanted to get to a fight that I think a lot of people were interested in the scoring of this one, not because they were going crazy about it, but they were like, man, how do you score this?
Yeah, such a tough round.
I think it was a couple
really interesting too.
Couple tough rounds that were a little more interesting here, right? But not because they were like wild, but also because they weren't like not wild. I don't know, it's very weird to say. The fight is Jeremiah Wells, who got the win over Matthew Semelsberger. It was a split decision, 2 30-27s, and then a 29-28 the other way for Semelsberger. And in full disclosure, it was Rick Winter who had the divergent score here. It was Eric Colon and Gennaro Comito who had all 3 rounds for Jeremiah Wells. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about round 1 for starters.
Yeah, round open-ups, and Wells sprints across the cage and eats a big right hand from Semelsberger that makes him step back, reset, be like, whoa, that was silly. let me take a different approach here. They re-engage. Semelsberger drops Wells. He looks out to me the way he fell for a split second. Eats some hammer fists. Scrambles to his feet trying to get a takedown. Eats another glancing blow off the head.
Gotta eat. He's eating way too much. He's got to eat less.
Goes down for a second time. Eats a couple more hammer fists. And he's grabbing legs for dear life. Like, he works it to a clinch, and Semelsberger kind of stuck against the fence, but he's throwing these Travis Brown style elbows, and you see Wells's legs just slide out. It's like, oh, I think he's hurt again. Hurt pretty badly 3 times in the opening minute and a half. Wells, to his credit, is able to get this takedown and lands in Semelsberger's guard.
Well, he has a lot of fuel because he was eating a lot.
That's
of stuff.
right. Yeah. He's throwing some ground and pound. Not much early on. Eventually, he does start posturing up and landing some good shots. Nothing crazy here. Some are missing. Some are landing on the guard. Semelsberger briefly gets it back to the feet. Wells throws a couple strikes before, shooting again, flipping him on his back. And then he lands some good shots here. Pretty decent damage. Good work from the top for the majority of the round. Really, Wells was in charge here. However, I think Semelsberger wins it. He had huge damage, had Wells hurt 3 times, basically on the verge of being finished, or at least a 10-8 the way it was going. I kind of think Wells worked himself back to earn a 9. So I'm 10-9 for Semelsberger.
Yeah, I think the lead is the key here. Is like, how much of a lead did he build up with the damage that he built early? And this will come into play in the next round we're going to talk about too, is just the fact that he was able to build a really solid lead that I don't know Wells was able to chip away by the end. I mean, maybe he was. I mean, that's kind of one of those things that you kind of have to assess on your own. Like, okay, how are these adding up compared to the start that I already had? You and I ended up being on the same page here, seeing this one for Semelsberger. I can understand why Judges Colon and Camijo had it for Wells here, because, this is a good amount of offense that's happening for a long time, and it left everyone else at home flabbergasted on what to do either. So someone was talking about a 10-10 or something like that.
That's what that's what Dominic Cruz said. Oh, it's kind of even now. And then Felder kind of shut him down and said, no, they don't do that.
That's right.
Even though they should.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But at least he acknowledged that they don't.
I want to point out that when it's that crew that's on, I think Bellator commentary blows it away.
But it was John Gooden for this one. John Gooden knows
John
his
Gooden's
stuff.
good. John Gooden is good.
Gooden knows his stuff.
I don't
him.
care for the other two together. I'd rather them be separate.
I think Paul Felder knows his stuff. Honestly, I would
but
rather
together.
But what
with
if
Dom Cruz?
Yeah, well,
doesn't work.
But then who would you put Dom Cruz with?
Bisping.
Because
Bisping doesn't take his crap.
That's right, he doesn't.
So it'd be great.
You notice that Dom Cruz mentions that he just refers to everybody by their last name too. I don't think anybody has a first name in his world. Felder, Bisping, Gooden.
Structured.
That's right. I should just call him Cruz from now on.
Yeah.
From now on, he's not Dominic Cruz. He's just Cruz.
He's just Cruz.
That's it. We're on a last name basis. But anyway, getting back to the point, we both had Semelsberger. We agreed with the outjudge here, Rick Winter. So what does that mean for Rick Winter?
Couchside override. And who knows? Cage side, maybe Wells wasn't as hurt as he looked on TV.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, there's a lot of subjectivity here based on how you view that scenario. I don't know that I don't think you could do much to clarify the scoring criteria, like we talked about kind of in the last few weeks or so. I don't think you could do a whole lot to change the fact that this is just a hard round to score. It just is, and in this scenario, pretty much everybody at home was willing to accept that too, which was a good thing. That is a really good thing. Round 2, another interesting round, kind of starts a similar way. Yeah,
Semelsberger lands a right hand that sends Wells to the mat awkwardly. Like his arm got really locked up behind his body. It was really, really strange. But he seems to be in more control than he was in the first round. Semelsberger follows him to the ground and does no ground and pound outside of a couple body shots. Back on the feet, outside of a couple combos, it seems like Semelsberger offense has hit a wall, and Wells lands another high-impact double leg. Similar to Gonzaga and Couture, I thought maybe like his knee got flipped around. Good thing it didn't smash himself in the nose for Semelsberger.
Always a good thing.
But for the rest of the round, like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, he's on top landing good elbows and punches. I think he surpasses the knockdown and the few strikes that Semelsberger landed on the feet. I think Semelsberger does throw 2 elbows from the back, but they don't really look all that effective. I'm 10-9 Wells.
Yeah, I think the key here is Semelsberger really doesn't add enough offense beyond the knockdown here. That's why he doesn't build up as big a lead either.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he doesn't build it up as big, and I think actually in this round, Wells does a better job of adding even more offense on top of like what he did in the first round. I think he had a better second round strictly on his offense than he had a first round.
Yeah.
And he didn't have as much to overcome. So I felt much better about this one being a Wells round. Not that I couldn't see the argument for Rick Winter going the same way, giving it to Semelsberger. Again, there's a lot of subjectivity to a round like this because there's not a whole lot happening, but there's a lot of big things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not a lot, but there is a one very large thing to happen. It's like, where does that rate on the scale? You know, how much does that kit chipped away?
Plus that awkward fall. It's like
it was a very strange thing. Yeah,
is your brain turned off?
Yeah,
for that portion of your body.
What's going on there? How much of that is effect? Like, you know, we're trying to evaluate the effectiveness of the strikes. How effective was that? Maybe it was hyper effective. I don't know. It's kind of in the eye of the beholder there. So, but again, I think Wells really takes care of it in this round. I think he's able to take it back. But yeah, it could go either way. So we're in the majority here at least this time. So we had ended up on a scorecard that no one gave out, which was 29-28 for Jeremiah Wells.
Yes.
But we ended up on the same page.
Yes.
So yeah, good job by us.
Excellent job by
us. I like we can get on the same page. That's kind of what I'm really getting at here. It's nice when we agree. Like what we did on the burger. That was a 7.
Yeah.
That was a 3.5.
Yeah,
right?
we
3.5 out of 5.
We agreed.
I like it. I like burgers too, by the way. Let's move on though. No more burgers and no more eating knees and eating punches and eating. Everyone's eating. This whole show is about eating.
I'm sure someone's going to be eating something.
I guess that's
got
true.
A lot more rounds.
That's true. We do have a lot more rounds. Starting with William Gomez. Got the win over Francis Marshall. Split decision, 29-28 all around. Round 2 is our deciding round. What's happening in round 2 other than not much?
Well, really close round, mostly because no one's able to land much. They are throwing quite a bit, but they just can't find the home for their punches.
Yeah. They're not like staring. They're just not doing anything.
Yep.
That's effective.
Marshall's catching mostly air, but at least he does land 3 solid punches to the head. Gomez seems to, when he lands, it's just a touch with his strikes, teeps to the body. Inside leg kicks, jabs. I don't see Gomez lands outside of the low blow towards the end of the round that caused much effect to Marshall. But I do think the 3 lands to the head of Marshall had, Gomez had to kind of reset a bit. Yeah, it's really close round, but I'm on Marshall 10-9.
I was very close on doing the same thing as you, giving it to Marshall. I didn't go that way, though. I thought I kind of ended up weighing the kicks that he was landing a little bit more from Gomez and enough to kind of get that round because, there's just... Who knows? Maybe I'm being tricked by the fact that he's just throwing so much that's doing nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
They're kind of both doing that.
Yeah, but Marshall takes it to a second level, I think. His level of useless activity is really impressive in a way. And maybe
puts Diego to shame.
Yeah, it kind of did. Except he's not like bullying forward. He's not like a bull in a china shop. He's kind of just like, I'm gonna stand for him. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm throwing it out there, but I'm not gonna touch anything. It's more like it's like in The Simpsons. I'm gonna punch the air, and if it hits you, it's your own fault.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like that from I want to say Sarah Marshall, but that's not who this is. This is Francis Marshall. Mm-hmm. Sarah Marshall, funny movie.
Good movie.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, by the way.
Yes.
Which I almost forgot to say. I went with the majority here. Adelaide Bird, Eric Colon, they saw this for Gomez. Man, I don't want to say I don't care because we care about the show, but like I go the other way. Fine. I don't care that you had it the same as Ben Cartledge for Marshall. That's fine. Whatever.
It's one where you can't get mad because you got to do something as the fighter in the cage. Give us something to score.
And I like that the commentary team, the UFC commentary team, was it this one or last week? One of them lately said something about that. You need to give them something to score. And I was really impressed with that because that was a really smart thing to say that they don't always say. Because if fighters are sitting at home watching and they hear that, they'll think, oh, maybe I should actually do something. Hopefully. Because that is true. Like you can't just, if you don't want to leave it to the judges, how about try harder? Get it done. Like I know it's easier I'm saying this from my cushy couch or chair. I'm in a chair right now, but I'm saying this from home. But at the same time, you're doing this sport, man. This is how you win. This is how you win on the cards. You gotta put offense out there, effective offense.
Do you want to be an effing fighter?
You want to be an effing fighter? You want to be an effing fighter? Never leaving the hand. No, never mind. But yeah, so we're split on this one. But again, I don't care. Just don't. Last round from UFC was Brady Highstand or He Stand?
I think it was He Stand.
He Stand, She Stand. Bakary Dana got the loss here, but he was winning this fight like pretty wholeheartedly. I think he was up 20-18 or 17 on all cards before he lost in the third round.
People were upset about this finish, which we should get into after this round.
Sure, yeah, we can
briefly.
Yeah. But yeah, round 2 though is actually the only round that we're going to be talking about from this because it is a potential 10-8. Why is that?
Well, Dana drops He Stand right away with a left hook right out the gate.
Like as quick as you possibly could, almost.
So forces He Stand to get up and go for a takedown. And he was hungry as well, so he ate some elbows trying to get this takedown.
Gobbling up elbows.
He's bloodied up.
Nom, nom.
He's bloodied up, but it's not deterring him really. He does get the takedown. He gets around to the back. He's kind of looking for a choke, but nothing's ever getting close. He's not throwing a single strike here. Dana reverses it, gets on top in the guard, and he starts landing some shots. Good damage from these elbows. The thing is, I don't really have another D outside of damage, and I don't think damage is enough on its own to get there. It's a big round and probably one that should be worth more than just 9, but I'm going with 10-9.
I don't even know if I felt very strongly about this becoming like an 8.5. I think we're talking about a borderline 10-9, 10-8.5, or it would be kind of in our CSJ system whether it's an 8 or a 9, right? I don't know. I don't even know how I feel strong about it. It's a great start.
Right. But
like after that, really, there's not a whole lot of craziness happening.
So I thought his elbows were pretty solid.
Maybe I'm underrating them. Maybe the 8.5 is the fair score. Maybe that's just right. Not that that's a real score, of course. But yeah, I didn't go that way. I felt pretty okay with this just being a 9 in the real system.
All right, yeah, me too.
So I sided with you. I sided with Ben Cartledge and Jacob Montalva. Mm-hmm. It was Ron McCarthy, who did not join his father in Hawaii. Unfortunate for him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see it as a very strong 8 case here.
Ron wasn't invited to family vacation in Hawaii.
Who knows? He's a working guy. Maybe he just couldn't get out to Hawaii. And especially for 2 events, right? Because that's a tough thing. You get one night off in Vegas. All right, I can do that. 2 nights off in Hawaii. Well, it's a little tougher to swing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I didn't think this was a super strong 8 case. I mean, I would love a world where this was. I just don't see it that way. So. Agree to disagree. And that was it for UFC. We do, again, have more Bellator rounds we're going to circle back to from Friday night. 6 more to go. Let's start with, on the main card, no one was, concerned about who won this fight. We've got 2 rounds to discuss in Sarah McMahon's victory over Arlene Blenko. All different scores, 30-26, 30-27, and 29-27. So... let's start with round 2, which is a degree of the 8-9.
Yeah, this round's complete domination. McMahon gets it down right away, moves to dominant positions. Not that much damage, but she's definitely dominating the transitions on the ground, looking for subs. But when it gets back to the feet is when it pushes it over for me. She hurts Blenkow pretty badly with these knees in the clinch. She landed like 7 or 8 of them.
I thought that was good damage there.
Like that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is where it pushed me over.
Sure.
And it hits the mat again. She attacks a nice arm triangle and finishes the round in mount. I think we got an 8. Clear-cut 8 here. 10.
I feel like this is a good 8, yeah. I like this as a much better than the other 8, with apologies to Ron McCarthy. I thought this was a real, this is a good 8.
Yeah.
And we had our traveling judges agreed with us, which was Mike Bell and Derek Cleary. It was the local judge, Mike Onzika, who... it was pointed out by Jonathan Snowden, the author of the MMA Encyclopedia, the Ken Shamrock biography.
Okay.
That Mike Onzika was an MMA media member early in the game, and his archive apparently, as according to Caposa, is very useful for early MMA history. So awesome.
Yeah.
But I think with more experience and getting more reps, probably would understand that this is an 8.
Yeah.
So not to say he doesn't know the sport. He's been following it a lot longer than I have, if that's the case.
He got the winner right.
He did get the winner right. Absolutely. No problems there. As again, it's that 8-9. That's what the local judges seem to have more trouble with. that
It's like hesitant to pull it. Like,
I don't know if it's
I go there?
hesitance. I don't know. Maybe they're just not as familiar. We're speculating, of course.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
going to be different for every individual, of course. But yeah, so I don't want to besmirch the officiating prowess of Mike Onzuka, but yeah, I do think this is a very strong 8, and this is what it should be. I don't know. Do we add this round to our list too? Of like, come on, or maybe we have like an 8-9 category. Maybe we should have that.
Okay, we'll
do that
like
too.
a second
So
category.
Yeah, throw that on there. Are you writing these down? How do you do this?
We have a spreadsheet.
I was gonna say, are we talking on the show and then you just forget it, or you do actually add it?
No, it's on the spreadsheet.
All right.
I haven't added the one you told me to add yet, but I'll get to it.
Do it right now. We don't have to do this show anymore. Now we'll move forward. In round 3, though, of this fight, this is where we're talking about the potential winner going the other way in a fight that, I mean, Sarah McMahon was basically destined to win already at this point, because at this point she's already up.
Was this her Bellator debut?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but through 2 rounds, she is up 20-17 on 2 cards. It's a guaranteed win without a finish, so it doesn't really matter here. But we'll talk about it anyway. Who won this round? What's happening here?
Right away, it looks like she might not make it out this round. She gets cracked in the face, drops, and then she goes for a single, and Blenko is just pummeling her in the face. Like, this is good shots here. I think Blenko waffled her on the feet quite a bit, and once on the ground, McMahon was in side control, and it was her fight from here. Blenko, once it hits the ground, she throws 2 solid elbows, like, from the bottom.
Yes, I remember those.
And McMahon kind of just holds on. She's like, I got to settle in here.
Obviously, she's trying to clear the cobwebs a little bit, yeah.
So she's just chilling for a while. And then eventually she starts throwing some elbows. Some of them are pretty decent here. To me, they just seemed like stay busy enough so the referee doesn't warn us and possibly stand us up. But on the other hand, they were still pretty good. I think it's a close round. It just wasn't enough to overcome what Blenko did for me in the beginning. So I'm on 10-9 Blenko.
I will push back a little bit on that. I think there's actually a little bit more effect on those elbows that she's throwing than you do.
Okay.
Agree, disagree. So mostly because of that, when she started throwing and landing those particular elbows, forearms, whatever you want to call them, whatever part of the arm is touching her, that was where it kind of started going from, okay, I mean, she's on top and she's definitely being able to neutralize the offense from a dominant position to actually, okay, she's landing some things that I think are actually effective here. And I agonized over this one. I have to say, this was probably the hardest round for me to score of the weekend, because I can totally see why Sarah McMahon still managed not to do enough effective offense to take back the round, but I did ultimately switch over to her.
Okay.
So
it's close.
It is. This is a close round. So we disagree. You had it the same as Mike Bell. I had it like Judges Onzuka and Cleary for McMahon. But again, this is a round that actually didn't matter. But it truly didn't matter how it was scored.
Also, Blenko,
10-7 would have made it a draw, and that's never going to happen.
Also, Blenko was like, oh, she got me. I'm just going to hold on and wait for the round to end. It's like she stopped fighting. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe she just knew she couldn't get up again. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
Who knows? But that was it for that fight. We do have another one from the main card with 2 rounds on it. A heavyweight decision.
Yeah.
They didn't do their job. They missed out.
I mean, yeah.
And unfortunately, we have 2 rounds to talk about from this one. Let's start with round 1. What's going on?
Well, just what the doctor ordered, a low output heavyweight fight. I think Soma, it's between Tim Johnson and Saeed Soma. Did you say their names?
No, I actually didn't.
Okay.
And I also didn't point out the scores, which is 29-28 all around. But because one judge, Derek Cleary, had the opposite rounds on the first 2 rounds as his counterparts, that's why we're talking about this one. So it's one of those deceptive 29-28s that's like, well, no, they didn't agree.
Yeah. All right. So like I said, low output heavyweight round. Really exciting stuff. Soma landed a couple punches and a good couple kicks early. I think Johnson landed a good couple punches, maybe 1 or 2, and he kind of when he was chasing Soma around the ring. He had a nice, decent, impactful takedown. There just really wasn't all that much offense. I think it's really close, but I'm siding with Soma, edging it 10-9.
I also sided with Soma. I thought the kicks were the most effective element here. And I don't want to say it was like even clear or anything like that, but I thought it felt close but clear to me in a low output round.
Okay.
Where it's like, I feel like I know who won this round, but also there's just not a whole lot happening, so I can get why maybe it just doesn't get there, especially for the judges who have a better view than I do. So I felt committed to this one. I was like, you know what? It's Soma. I think Soma won this round. But yeah, it's okay. It's heavyweights. They didn't do their job. They were supposed to finish, and they didn't do it. So that's on them. But I still ended up the same as you. Same as, again, Judge Cleary, who was the out judge here. It was judges Sal D'Amato and Brian Miner who saw it for Johnson. But they're not getting the thing that Derek Cleary's going to be getting here, which is
Couchside override.
Let's see if maybe Judge Cleary can get a second couchside override in this one, because we got to talk about round 2, or he's the out judge.
Yeah, Johnson starts good. His boxing's solid. He's getting to the clinch, landing some knees. I think the difference is Soma's kicks in this round, especially to the body. I feel they're having great effect on Johnson, slowing him down. 10-9 Soma.
I had Johnson here. I don't really have much more to say other than I thought he just landed a little better.
Okay.
So no override. I tried Judge Cleary. It just didn't work out. But yeah. So let's not talk about this fight anymore.
Oh yeah. End that fight.
That's enough of that. 2 more here. We've got this one opened up the main card. Levon Chokeli, right? Did I say that right? I'm probably messing it up. Got the win over Michael Lombardo. 30-27 twice and a 29-28. We're only talking about round 2 potentially going for Lombardo. So what's going on in round 2?
Chokeli lands a solid uppercut after Lombardo lands a nice right, forces Lombardo to back off. A lot of strikes Chokeli is throwing are being blocked, but the ones that do get through are pretty solid. Lombardo wins the grappling and clinch game. Good knees in there. Good kind of, just close fighting, but I don't think it's better than the offense Chokeli had at distance. So close round, but I'm 10-9 Chokeli.
Me too. I don't have anything to add. I just sided with you. And judges Cow to Cow and Mike Bell. Sal D'Amato was the out judge here. We did not see it the same way as D'Amato this time. But he didn't have to fight with any cameramen, like we said.
That's good.
That is good. That is good.
10-7 Sal versus cameramen.
There was a peace between the judges and the cameramen in this event. They struck an accord. Last round here, and this is all the way in the prelims. It is one more 8-9 split. Chris Lencioni doing a lot of work in round 1 before he got the second round submission by inverted triangle over Blake Smith. So let's go into round 1. Why is this a potential 10-8?
Yeah, early Lencioni lands a heavy right hand, that wobbles Smith, almost sends him to the mat. Smith returns fire with a big right of his own that made Lencioni go, okay, I'm going to take this to the ground. Gets it to the ground, moves quickly to the back, body triangle, attacking many rear naked chokes, just squeezing the face. Good punches. These are kind of those annoying punches where you're hitting the person with the bone of your front knuckles, none of the glove. I think we got all 3 Ds. I think the question is here, did Smith earn the 9? I don't think that one strike that kind of wobbled Lencioni was enough. So I'm 10-8.
I'm 10-8 too. I don't think he earned the 9 on just that. I think this was a very good round for Lencioni. I'm the 8 too.
All right.
And but although judges again cow to cow here, the local judge with Derek Cleary, they saw it as a 9. I like the 8. I like the way Brian Miner scored it. You know what that means for Brian Miner?
Couchside override.
That was a good one. That was a good horn. Sometimes it doesn't come out as well. Like I thought that one I nailed. And that is it for 12 rounds across 3 events. I think we did a good job.
We did.
I think everybody who listens to this show should give us a round of applause too. And I want to hear it. I want to hear all of you.
Please clap.
Yeah. Every time I hear someone clapping, I'll be like, that's for me. And Dan. You too.
Yeah.
You get it as well. Finishes. A lot of finishes. 5 at the UFC, 7 at Bellator. All told, we had 7 KOs or TKOs, 5 submissions. By the way, no submissions at UFC, but there were 5 KO or TKO. So we're going the other way again. The subs were taking over. It's the scales are balancing. But we had 5 first round finishes at UFC, 2 in Bellator, and that does not include that round 1 disqualification. That is excluded. What was your favorite finish of the weekend, sir?
My favorite finish happened in New Orleans. Nate Diaz choking out some random Logan Paul lookalike in the middle of a fight, walking towards Nate, trying to grab his hands. He got choked out. Then he got dropped like John Jones dropped Lyoto Machida. Great guillotine finish. Nate Diaz, the true BMF champ. Honorable mention, real quick.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Chris Lencioni's inverted triangle over Blake Smith.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I thought you'd like that one. He was stuck in that a while. I was like waiting for him to like try and go for the armbar too.
I was like, you're stuck here. You're never getting out. And if he decides to just start elbowing your face, it's going to be It's gonna be
He
brutal.
had like Lencioni had his choice of like what to do here.
Mm-hmm.
He could have kind of just done anything. I was waiting for him to like try to get the arm too, like just try to bend the arm the other way.
Too.
There's a lot of things he could have
Mhm.
done. He was just like, well, now I have this position. I could just what do I feel like getting?
Yeah.
What do I feel like getting? I've got a couple minutes here. I'll figure it out. And he did. Yeah, he got the inverted triangle. That was good. That was really good. For me though, I think it has to go back to the knee. The knockout for $1 million from Batchy Mix. It was because he used his length so well to get that. It was just such a high knee on a shorter opponent. He had a 4-inch advantage in height in this fight, and he really used that well.
We have a new knockout of the year. Leader.
You think this is the leader?
This is the leader.
Okay.
This is the leader.
I'm having trouble coming up with another one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Ishmael
there might be.
Bonfim just got overtaken.
I got to do a better job of like tracking these throughout the year. I don't do a good job at that.
Makes it easier
At the end of
the
well,
year.
it does, especially because I'm in charge of I'm not in charge, but I ended up taking the reins last year of the awards committee for MMAJA, and that involved me like going crazy, watching everything back again, and like going over lists that other people have done, and getting suggestions from a bunch of people that keep track of this stuff. So yeah, I should try to remember this. You help me remember.
I do help you remember.
Thank you. You're a good guy. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And that was it, though. We can move on from a very busy weekend to one that's, I guess, a little sleepier by comparison coming up with UFC Vegas number. I think I said last week this was Vegas 62 or 72. This coming one is 72 because the one that was UFC Las Vegas instead of Vegas. Yeah,
exactly.
Everything got messed up. It's stupid. Everything's stupid. This whole thing's stupid.
Was it
stupid? What?
Was a different city,
It
apparently.
was a very different city. It's not Vegas, it's Las Vegas.
Yep.
The fight's here, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, main card on Saturday, headlined by Song Yadong and Ricky Simone.
Moved from this week to next week.
Good call. Because,
we talked about it last week.
There would not have been a whole lot to look forward to from this card. At least not something that you'd be like, man, that should be atop the card.
Mm-hmm.
You totally lacked that anything. Kyle Bahayo is not going to do it for me. Sorry. But I like this fight. This is a good 5-round fight, 135 pounds. It certainly elevates the importance of the fight because now, there's a little bit of thinning at the top as some people are kind of getting knocked off their perch. And, Song Yadong, if he goes and gets a win, I think it can still put him back in there. He was doing really well against Corey Sandhagen in their fight. It didn't go his way, but he got out of there with the cut, right?
Yeah.
But I think he was doing well
cut.
early in that fight, at least. So I think there's the fact that he's got some talent. He's young. He's only getting better as he improves with age. And Ricky Simone's a tough guy too. He's got a win over Merab, so that has to count for something. I know it was a weird win,
albeit strange.
It was very. It's still super strange. It's very strange to have gotten the submission victory at 5 minutes of round 3 of the Fremont fight, but it is what it is, right? I like this fight though. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah. We're in Nevada. Probably all those judges who were in Hawaii probably didn't plan to stay an extra week, so I expect a few of them will probably come back over to Vegas.
Yeah.
We'll see who. What else are you looking forward to on this one?
Rodolfo Vieira and Cody Brundage.
Okay.
Should be pretty decent middleweight fight if they don't, gas.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I didn't highlight that one is because I expect them to gas.
Okay.
Although, I mean, look, Rodolfo Vieira is very interesting to me just because obviously he's a very standout in one particular area, being the submission game, the grappling game. But yeah, he carries a lot of muscle, and that muscle needs to eat air and not punches.
Yes. Still, it's hungry.
Yeah, it's very hungry, and there's not enough air to feed the muscles. But I actually like a lot of. I'm predisposed to liking 135, 145, 125 pounders. We got former guest of the show, Cody Durden, going against Charles Energy Johnson at 125 pounds, and Brian Boom Boom Kelleher against Journey Newsom. I like these fights. That's 135.
That should be a good one.
Both of these will be good. I think they'll be fun. But that is, we got to the end.
We made it.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Watch us. We're going to have like 12 fights to talk about next week, or 12 rounds to talk about just from one event.
Yeah, come on. Don't do that.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, 12 was a lot. Honestly, like even though we were able to do it, that was a lot for me. Catch up on.
It was.
And because I got to watch much less of them in a scoring capacity as I would like to live. So I had to catch all of them later, and that was a challenge.
Yeah.
So maybe make it easy, guys. Another real good round of judging. Let's root for that. I think we can get it. We got some good judges in this area.
Yes, do great. Let's have no contested rounds next week.
Boy, that would be... What would we do?
We'll just talk about the finishes or how fantastic they were.
But what if it was like they had like 3 or 4 refereeing things where it's like, oh yeah, the referee ran into the fighters during a finishing sequence, like accidentally tripped and fell or something. And then we got to go over what's the protocol for that.
The referee refused to count, like WWE.
What? It doesn't really work that way.
He's not stopping it.
Well, that would just be dangerous.
That would
It'd
be
be very bad. You can.
If the ref turns heel, that's what happens.
It's not like, when Stone Cold lays on Triple H and, because I'm dating myself with this reference here, Stone Cold lays on Triple H. I mean, Triple H is already out. Like, he's not, it doesn't matter. Like, he can just lay on him for 20 seconds. It's not going to hurt him anymore. He's done doing that. That's one thing that they should have done in the Attitude Era or in wrestling or whatever. When they're out cold and the ref's not there, keep hitting them. Just keep hitting them. Go get a bell. Do something wild. Like, make sure they don't get up again. I should be managing these fighters. Or these wrestlers. I would be cage side cage side. I would be ringside, and they're laying down on them, and I'd be like, "No, don't get the ref. Just beat him more.
Just keep beating him.
Do your finisher again.
I'll get the ref."
No. Don't even bother. Just it's an opportunity to lay it on even more. You should just do a second finisher.
Okay.
No wrestler has ever thought to do that, by the way. I say that without knowing.
No, they always do it now.
They do.
Almost,
they do a second finisher after the first one, like immediately.
So Brock Lesnar.
Good Lord.
He'll just grab someone, fit F5, pick him up F5, pick him up F5.
So like German suplex styles.
Just getting him back up, trying to kill him. But it's very rare that one finisher is enough these days. They'll kick out.
That's dumb.
It's kind of so annoying. It's like, don't even bother having a finisher. I can do a whole hour on this, but I think that's it.
Yeah, we're not a wrestling show, so we're gonna call it there. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back again next week with, again, maybe a more abbreviated show, I hope.
Let's hope. Hopefully Monday, possibly Tuesday.
That's right. Yeah, Dan's traveling, so we'll see if we can manage to get it in. It might be delayed. We'll try to let you guys know.
Thanks for listening.
Take care, everybody.